Okay, in this video, I'm going to show you how to draw a building in 2-point perspective, okay? This is for my 8th graders. You're doing 2-point perspective this year. So I'm going to start off just like I did with 1-point perspective. I'm going to start with my horizon line. I like to put my horizon line towards the top of my paper. It gives me ample ground space to be able to draw my buildings. This year, I have to have 5 buildings in 2-point perspective, okay? Now, last year, we had 1-point perspective, and we added 1 vanishing point. This year, we're making it slightly more difficult, and we're adding 2. So I'm going to put a vanishing point on the right side of my paper, and I'm going to put a vanishing point on the left side of my paper. Notice, mine are not in a straight horizontal line. They're kind of diagonal. Doesn't make a difference to me where you put them. It's easier if you keep them in the sky region of the paper, okay? Now, I want to work my buildings in between my 2 vanishing points. I don't want to go outside my vanishing points. Okay, it makes it more difficult at this point in time, and we want to keep with simple. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my ruler and I'm going to draw a vertical line. Okay, all of my buildings in 2-point perspective start with a vertical line. Simple, easy. Think about how many buildings you got to put in there. Think about how big or small they need to be. Okay, now I'm going to start with the bottom. Doesn't really matter which I start with, the top or the bottom, but I'm going to take from the top and the bottom and go to both vanishing points. I normally do 1 vanishing point first from the top to the bottom. If you want to do both bottom ones first or you want to do both top ones first, it doesn't really necessarily matter the order as long as both of them get done. Okay? My next one, next vanishing point, taking my time, lining up my ruler with the corner and the vanishing point. Okay, the more precise I am with these steps, the better my building is going to look, and the easier it's going to be when I start adding doors and windows. Okay, so now I have kind of this very geometric kind of Nike swoosh sign going on here. Okay, now I'm going to add the sides of my building. I'm going to say, hey, this is where my building ends. I always go to the right. Maybe it's because I'm right-handed, so I always do the right side first. Okay? Lining up with that center vertical line I drew, I'm just going to slide it towards the vanishing point, whichever one I want to do first, keeping in mind where my ground is. Okay? So, there's one side of my building. Now I'm going to go to the left. Slide it over to the left. How big is that building going to be? Okay? Draw my next line. Here's where you may or may not be able to do this step, okay? Because of where my vanishing points are, I will be able to see the top of my building. This may or may not work for you. If you're lining it up and things are going, but man, I'm just drawing lines right over top of lines, then it probably isn't going to work. If you're not for sure, ask a question, all right? So to make the top of my building, I'm going to go to the opposite vanishing point. So this right vertical line is right as I'm looking at this right side. I'm going to take to my left vanishing point. And this left one, I'm going to take to the right vanishing point. So I'm going to line it up. Line it up with my opposite vanishing point, and away we go. Line it up with the opposite vanishing point. Take my time, line it up neatly, and away we go. Okay, so I now see the top of this building. Now I'm ready to erase. Okay, I can erase these extra lines going to my vanishing point. I've got a little bit of my horizon line in my building. I can erase that. Erase, erase, erase. Neatly. Okay, keep your vanishing points. Okay, you have to have 5 buildings. All 5 of my buildings for this project will sit between these 2 vanishing points. Doesn't matter how many buildings I have. If I have 47, if I have 18, if I have just 1, doesn't matter. I'm using the same 2 vanishing points for the entire project. 2-point perspective, 2 points, the same 2 points beginning to end. The next video, I will show you how to take this rectangle in 2-point perspective here and turn it into a building.